I really like that a lot. The band is called the track is Nothing. And let's see who we've got on the line from the band. Let's see. Al, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, welcome. And do you have anyone else with you, or is it just you?
No, it's just me today. No one else wanted to get up.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, it's early there, right? Because you're on the West Coast?
Yes. It's 8 o'clock over here.
Oh, that is understandable. Yeah, I don't want to get up at 8 o'clock either, but I totally get it. Yeah. I totally get it.
Yeah, I'm the only one. I'm the only one who's used to getting up early, so I got this one.
I gotcha. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're with us. I really like that song a lot, and
thank you.
Absolutely. I have questions about it too, because obviously, as you're listening to it, even if someone doesn't know anything about the background of the song and what inspired it and all of that, it's obvious that there's a message there. And I wanted to ask you about that first and kind of start there, because I think it's an important song. And I think that, you can reach people through music in ways that you can't reach them from just trying to explain to someone, for example, why they should care about something, what's going on that they should be concerned with. But you can reach people through a song like that. So can you kind of talk to us about that, about what the song is about and what inspired you to write it?
Sure. What inspired me was kind of a funny story. I was walking out of the 99-cent store. We have those. I'm not sure if you have them where you're at. They're just basically like discount stores.
Oh, yeah. We have them too. Yeah.
Okay. I was walking out of one, and a guy came up to me and asked me for spare change. And trying to be funny, I said, dude, I just walked out of the 99-cent store. What makes you think I have any change?
Yeah.
And, we both kind of had a laugh about it. And I just told him, hey, man, you're fishing in the wrong pond. You need to go to like a legit supermarket. Maybe, you have better luck. And that kind of got me thinking how someone's asking for change at a 99-cent store, which really shows you like, and then myself, getting groceries there, I honestly didn't have any change for him. So it just made me realize how close we all are to just being in each other's position, so to say.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that's what kind of got me thinking about it, writing the lyrics and the line, I have nothing and I'll give you the same. That was literally what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And so that started it. And I wrote the lyrics first, just I'm not a good storyteller. I wish I was. I wish I could just like make up a story about, whatever, and then turn it into a great song. I'm not. So I tend to write about experiences or things like, fears or things I've been through or whatever. So this is exactly what Nothing is. And in LA, there's a big homeless issue.
Yeah.
A lot of, and you see a lot of it is mental illness issues. A lot of it is just can't afford to live in a house. It's either, some people have jobs, but they can't afford to rent. So they live in their cars, so that's what pretty much the song's about, and how it's really shocking when you really think about it. You put yourself in their shoes and how quickly the roles could be reversed. Absolutely.
It's interesting that you put it that way, because I was having a conversation with someone very recently, in fact, about how, I look at my own life and, I'm an entrepreneur and I've taken a lot of risks, and it's actually shocking to me when I think back of how many times I've been on the edge, like really on the edge of maybe ending up homeless or ending up not knowing how I was going to eat. And you're right when you say that, people take for granted. It's very easy to take for granted if you've had a relatively smooth ride, shall we say,
right.
that everything's always going to be that way. But so many people in this country are closer to the edge than maybe they even want to realize. They always say, don't look down, because it'll scare you. Right. But they talk about how most people don't have enough money to handle an expensive emergency. It's right. We're all closer to that than I think a lot of, not all of us, but a lot of us are closer to that than people realize or want to think about.
Right. I think heard someone say once, we're like 1 or 2 paychecks away from being homeless at all times.
Oh yeah.
For a lot of us, a lot of us don't have, the big savings or the investments. A lot of us don't live that way.
Right.
So it's like you said, it's a fine line sometimes.
Yeah. And where you are, that area certainly is known for that. I think all the major cities in California really are known for having a terrible homeless problem, and it's terrible everywhere. Absolutely. But I also think too, what's very relatable about the song is I think everyone has experienced that too, where, you're not in that position, but you're not exactly, thriving either. And maybe you're walking, maybe you're walking out of the dollar store, or any kind of store, and somebody's asking you for change and you're like, things are tough all over, man. I don't have anything to give you. I'm barely making it,
Right. Right.
I think that's very relatable. What's the response been to the song? Like, do people kind of hone in on the message? Do they get the message when they listen to it?
Yeah, it's 50-50. Some people just like the groove of it. Some people just like it because it says like that kind of like heavy guitar, kind of metal thing to it. So it really depends. Then we have some people who actually have come up to us after gigs and said like, oh, and they tell us their story. Oh, that was me once. The first time we played it, I tried to be clever, and I got I found a pizza box outside, and I cut the pizza box, and I wrote, we'll work for food, and I stood there holding it, trying to be a little dramatic during the gig.
Sure.
And I just threw it away after I just chucked it, and after the show, some guy came up with it and said, like, I'm going to hold this because that song really spoke to me. I'm going to keep this. Could you guys sign it? And it was strange. We were just like, yeah, sure. And, and he told us a similar story. I was homeless and I was addicted, and I held these signs in the corner. I just happened to be here with friends, saw you guys. They didn't even come to see us. They were just happened to be there. And so it's mixed. People like it for different reasons, but there are some people who actually do listen to the lyrics, and other people just like to shake their ass and listen to a groove.
Sure. I also like the the kind of the empathy behind it, because that's something that I think is lacking for a lot of people when they, again, if you've always had a smooth ride and you don't know any better, you might not know that there could be a cliff somewhere. A lot of people, they like to look down on homeless people or unhoused, I guess is the term that we use now. And it's, something that a lot of people don't realize is there's a large, I don't know the numbers offhand, but there's estimated to be a large percentage of homeless people who are actually veterans, who are people who are, not to get political with it, but it is worth pointing out, people who were let down by this country and are terribly broken system in terms of taking care of our veterans who have fallen through the cracks. And so, I always tell people, because there are people of a certain political persuasion who tend to be the ones who are most likely to go out of their way to disparage homeless people or unhoused people. And I always like to point out, when you do that, you might be treating a veteran that way, so,
right.
The people who like to.
The reason you're able to make the money you're making is because they put their life on the line at one point or another.
Exactly. 100%. And, and we just let them fall through the cracks. We should mention the video too, right? There's a music video for Nothing.
Yes, that's how it kind of got. Originally, we released that song before we signed with Sode Records. We just kind of released our own songs.
Yeah.
So we had an EP of 4 songs that we released on our own, and that was one of the songs. So what we decided to do is we started releasing songs under Sode, so they give it the push the songs deserve. So we can't re-release the songs as singles again because they're already put out there, but we were able to put them out as videos. So it kind of refreshes the song and then gives the label an opportunity to push the song as a video and the song itself, and not just a single. So that's our little loophole we found to be able to push songs we recorded earlier.
That's a great strategy. How long ago was Nothing actually recorded originally?
About 3, maybe 4 years ago.
Oh, okay. Okay. It's got, the sound though and the vibe of it are pretty timeless. It's not like, you know what I mean? Which is good. It's got kind of I feel like it's got kind of a grunge vibe to it in terms of the production. I don't know if that's what you were going for, but that's sort of what I hear when I listen to it.
Yeah, we get that a lot. And it's funny, Paul, the guitarist, the guy who we got the band together, he likes to embrace that grunge sound, and me coming up in that time, I hated that word grunge because I figured like it's just rock, man. That's a label someone put on it to sell flannels,
Right.
But it's funny when when people were asked about it. The way I explain it is we're not kids. We're all older, so we grew up in the 90s listening. I'm just take it back. We grew up as kids listening to the same bands that the guys did in the 90s. So
Hmm.
we grew up listening to Sabbath and, Zeppelin and Deep Purple and, bands, the Pixies, bands like that from the 70s. So that's what influenced us to write our music. It just so happened that the guys from Seattle also heard those bands. So therefore our sound is similar, but we never like said, oh, we need to sound like Alice in Chains and we need to sound like Soundgarden. We always wanted to sound like Black Sabbath or
Oh
we
yeah.
wanted to sound like Pink Floyd. So we kind of have the same influences. So yeah, our music would have been, if we would have been out there more in the 90s, our music would have fit in perfectly. But yeah, but it's not on purpose. Like, let's be grunge. It's just we just want to be Black Sabbath and King's X. That's all we want to be. And sometimes it
Oh,
just kind of lands that way.
King's X. Yes. Yes. And I can hear that in that it didn't occur to me until you said it, but I can hear
Yeah.
that. I love King's X, as you might be able to tell from my reaction.
Yeah.
I'm a bass player, so Doug Pinnick is one of my heroes.
Oh, we just supported them at the Whiskey a couple of weeks ago.
Oh my God,
So
really?
yeah, it was great. We've been trying to get on that gig for years. Every time they come to town, and this time we found the right promoter. He hooked us up, and we were able to support them at the Whiskey. It was one of those they say not to meet your heroes, but yeah, that's wrong. We got to meet the guys, and they were great, and they were cool to us, and it was
Oh,
cool to play with the King's X fans
yeah.
that we know, like, okay, they're probably going to appreciate what we're doing, and we had a great rapport with them, and we sold merch and CDs, and we got a bunch of new fans out of it because you know they love King's X as much as we do, and I'm
Yep.
sure King's X should have been huge. They should
Yeah.
have been
Yep.
like the biggest band in the world because if it wasn't for them, a lot of this '90s stuff wouldn't exist.
Agreed.
But so when they play a club, everyone there is a hardcore King's X fan.
Yep.
So it was one of our like we gotta get on that gig. So
Oh.
yeah, we only agree on two bands when we got together. We you do the whole who are you influenced by when I first met Paul.
Yeah.
We only agreed on two bands, King's X and Black Sabbath.
No kidding.
So yeah. So that's the way it worked out for us.
Those are great choices. Sabbath is also one of my favorites, but yeah, I met King's X a long time ago. She's like literally decades. And I got to interview Doug Pinnick. I think he might have been the
Oh,
first musician I ever actually sat down and interviewed. Now that I'm thinking about it,
oh
and
wow.
what an amazing guy! I mean, just so gracious. And
Right.
I wasn't the only one there participating in the interview, but he gave us a lot of time, and yeah, it was just really incredible. But yeah, but I can hear all that in that song, that King's X and Sabbath, with the guitar tone and everything, just really really good. It's funny too because you don't like the term grunge, and I totally get it. I reflect back now on that time, and it's like grunge kind of became the catch-all term for
Right.
anything that came out of Seattle. And if you think about the bands that were big at that time that got labeled as grunge, they all sound very different. Like Alice in Chains doesn't sound anything like Pearl Jam, which doesn't sound anything like Nirvana, and
Right.
all these bands got put in this box.
Right. That's always my argument, but it's like it's always our argument I lose because like it's grunge is a thing now, like new wave or like hair metal.
Mhm.
It just kind of became a thing, and it's a real term now. But I did my best to fight it off, but I guess I lost that one.
It's huge right now in the UK. We have a lot of guests from the UK, and apparently grunge is very much the big thing over there right now.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, surprised me, but
That's right.
but yeah, absolutely. Now, so tell me about the history of the band, because I originally form in the 90s. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, yeah. We were kids. Paul and I first started out in the '90s. We had a short run, just doing like local. There was a small scene in East LA, Montebello area, and we played there for a few years with two other a different bass player and drummer. And we did our run, and nothing happened for us. And then eventually we just kind of like went our ways. I got married, had kids. Just Paul, he's always been a musician. Like right now, he's in Chicago. He plays bass for Vinny Appice
Oh
in
wow,
his Sabbath band. So he tours with Vinny
nice.
as a bass player, but he's actually a guitarist. But like bass player gigs are way easier to get than guitarist gigs.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
yeah, so
100%.
he's always been a musician. He's always played covers and tribute bands his whole life. And then I would say a good 15 years passed, and then we just kind of run into each other again, and we just started talking, and we said like, hey, let's start writing again. With no expectation. Let's just write, just do something. I just wanted to reconnect with him, and
Hmm.
I knew that's pretty much the only way we're going to reconnect. And then yeah, so we started putting music out, and we got contacted by Sam from Sode, who was interested in signing us, which is funny because when you're a kid, that's all you want to do, right? You just want to get signed, and you're thinking about like back in the days, you get signed, you get a bonus, you get the road, and it's different now. We weren't even looking for that; it just kind of happened. And we're just like very grateful, like, oh, cool, he wants to sign us and put us on his label and
Yep.
distribute us. So it kind of happened backwards for us, but we're very grateful. So yeah, we started early and then took a break and started up again.
Yeah, I always laugh about the misconceptions and misperceptions people have about how I don't think this is largely the case anymore, but certainly was a time when people assumed that if you got signed, it meant that you were now you were flying on a private jet out to L.A. and hanging out
Right.
with supermodels and staying at the Playboy
Right.
Mansion and now and driving a Lamborghini and all that
Yeah.
and
It's not the 80s and Motley Crue anymore.
right, right. and let's be honest, it wasn't even that way for Motley Crue until they started to really sell some records and sell some tickets. It's not, people think, oh, you get signed and you're suddenly rich. It's like, no. And you have to explain things like recoupment and all of this. It's the economics of it are much tougher than people realize.
Yeah, there's still a lot of work to do.
Absolutely.
After you sign that contract. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, so when you guys kind of put the project away the first time, was it always kind of in the back of your mind that you might revisit it someday, or at the time did you feel like I'm done with this, moving on, getting married, focusing on that?
I can't speak for Paul, but for myself, yes. Not just specifically this band, but just being creative. See, I have bipolar disorder.
Okay.
And I didn't know until I was, almost 30. So being able to be creative and to be able to like, just purge whatever's in my brain and put it into music, or just, writing it down, poetry, or just journaling has always helped me. And I left that thinking, okay, that's in the past. Now I'm just gonna, be married and raise kids and, not be a musician anymore. But it bit me in the ass because that creativity wasn't there purposely. I purposely put it away.
Yeah.
And it really just didn't work with me. It made me a monster at times. So yeah, I did think about it and I did miss it, but I really didn't realize that was the key to my sanity.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. So yeah, so as soon as I had the opportunity, like during that time, I did like a couple of cover projects. Like, hey, we're gonna do a party. You want to play some cover songs, stuff like that. And that's when I realized, like, okay, I miss this. I miss the rehearsals and the guys and the songs and
Yeah.
so yeah. For myself, yeah, it was always in the back of my head. I just didn't realize how much I needed it until all hell broke loose.
Right.
And I realized there's something missing in my life, and that was it.
Well, especially too, where you're someone who, and again, we talked about the song "Nothing." You're someone who clearly has something to say that you need to express. So I can see where it makes sense to me how you explain that, how you realize that was missing from your life and you needed to get that back. So what's with the current lineup of the band? Is it the same? Is it the same four of you, or?
No, it's just Paul and I are the originals, and then David, the drummer, is actually Paul's nephew, who at the time when we were getting back together, he didn't have any project at the time, so he just kind of sat in with us, and it just kind of clicked. So we just kind of said, well, guess what? You're playing with us too. You know what I mean? Because he's a lot younger than us. He's like in his late 20s, or maybe might be 30 by now.
Okay.
And then Paulie, the bass player, he's someone that Paul's known for a long time and played in a lot of bands with back in the day. So we just recruited him, and same thing. We said, hey, we're doing this show. We just need someone to sit in with us. He learned the songs, and we just kept saying, hey, we have another one. You want to do it? Yay, we have another one. And now we just kind of tricked him into just hanging around. So yeah.
It's nice when it comes together organically like that, instead of instead of saying, okay, we're gonna hold all these auditions and do all this stuff. But when
And we could spend hours talking about some auditions we try to have. They're nightmares and they're hilarious at the same time. It's rough.
yeah,
It's rough. Not just the playing, but like, where we say like the guys who get all the gigs, because rule number one, don't be an a-hole.
mm-hmm.
And you'd be surprised how many guys you meet who are auditioning and they're just like arrogant or a-hole, or and not to mention whether they could play or not. But it's
Right.
yeah, there's some stories there with the audition. So luckily we didn't have to. We did it for a bit until we realized let's just start tricking guys into playing with us. That we
Yeah.
know. And
There you go.
yeah,
Maybe some of the guys who are auditioning, maybe they thought they were going to get the private jet and hang out at the Playboy Mansion and all that.
could be.
So does the early material, because obviously you guys have a history, does the early material survive, or are you focused on writing and recording just new stuff, or how does that work?
We brought with us, I believe, two, maybe three songs that we recorded, that we played, three songs that we played back then. The other ones we just, they either morphed into something else, or Paul used them with other projects, as far as the ideas.
Yeah.
But three songs we brought with us that we felt still kind of had, enough, fit with what we're doing now.
Okay.
Which really isn't much different, but yeah.
Yeah. And then, what is the plan for these? I mean, are you going to continue to release singles, or will these coalesce into an EP or an album, or what's kind of your strategy?
Yes. So our next release is the 13th of August, and that'll be our new single, Circle, but it'll be released in an album because we have enough. We released a bunch of singles now, so we're gonna combine them into an album.
Okay.
So the album's gonna drop on the 13th, and it will have the new single Circle on it.
Oh, wonderful. And you did send us that one, which we're going to play at the end of our conversation, so our listeners can get a sneak peek. Has this been played anywhere on the radio before? Circle?
No, we've played it. We played it live a couple times, or actually just once. We just played it once at the King's X because we had to do some rewrites on it. So the way the way we recorded it, we only played it at the King's X show.
Oh, wow.
But no, it hasn't been played anywhere.
Oh, wow. So this will be a world radio premiere. I love it. There
you go. I like that. I'll put that on our website.
Oh,
world radio premiere.
Please do. No, we love to get to do those. That's great. I'm very honored that you sent us that. Then I didn't realize it wasn't coming out until August. That's fantastic, and it's a great track. I really like it a lot.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So I haven't asked you the most obvious question yet. Where does the name come from?
Okay, so when we were coming up with band names, I came up but we wanted to do it in a way that said, in this big scheme of life, we're not that important.
Mm-hmm.
We think we are, but we're not that important. So when you read or write the word I, it's always capital because you're talking about yourself.
Yeah.
So we figured we're just going to make it, lowercase I.
Mm-hmm.
And, just to, at least for our entertainment, it tells us hey, we're not that important.
Right.
We're in, there's bigger things to worry about than us. So we just went with a lowercase I.
Okay. Interesting. And I like the and it is lowercase. And then I see the image of the is it your official logo, the I in front of the hand? Is that
no, the original logo is just the I.
Okay.
The hand that's my wife's hand.
Oh.
She yes, we if you have a minute, she had some cancer scares with her. She had a rare tumor in her kidney called a pheo. We call it a pheo, but I forgot what the full name is.
Okay.
So there was times where we didn't know if we were going to have her around, and when she had her surgery, it was during COVID. So the day I dropped her off at the hospital, I couldn't go inside with her, and
wow. Yeah.
she had a 50-50 chance on the table. So I didn't know if that was the last time I was ever going to see her, so it was a lot of stress. So luckily, she made it through and stuff. So I just had this thing where I wanted to get her hand tattooed on me somewhere. So I had her do the whole paint on a piece of paper. And
wow.
something just kind of clicked, and I'm like, I'm gonna put the eye right in the middle of it and use it as a logo. And actually, when we play our gigs, I have a shirt that has her hand with the eye on it and stuff like that too. So it's the official logo is just the eye, but the hand's been very popular, so we're probably gonna roll with that for a while.
Yeah, I like it. No, it's a cool image, and thank you for sharing the story behind it. And so how is she now at this point? Is she good?
Yeah, she's good. I mean,
Good.
she's still, it's one of those, the tumor being on her adrenal gland. I mean, I said kidney. I apologize. Her adrenal gland wreaked havoc in her body because it
Yeah.
was constantly releasing adrenaline. So they removed the tumor and the adrenal gland. So now she's running on one adrenal gland.
Okay.
So so it's been a couple years, but it's still like her body's getting used to having only one adrenal gland. So some days, good days, bad days, and the bad days usually like fatigue. But
Yeah.
she's doing good.
Good.
Thank
Good.
you
Glad to hear that. Yeah. Yeah, that's a very scary thing. Now the track Circle, will there be a video for this as well?
Eventually, yeah,
Yeah.
we haven't talked about it yet, and but that video it should be fun because the whole song revolves around Plato's cave. I don't know if you're familiar with that one.
No.
So it's kind of it's Plato has a lot of Plato's cave is the whole theory of they you're stuck in a cave and your captors put like little like say like a little symbol of a horse or like a soldier, and then they put a fire behind it, so it makes a shadow on the wall of a soldier and things you fear. So you're stuck in this cave because of these shadows, not realizing if you just turn around, you're gonna realize it's not a real soldier. It's just a little stand with the reflection on it.
Yeah.
So that's the whole Plato's cave thing. So
Oh.
I'm thinking that should be a pretty fun video to make. Plato's not around anymore, so I don't think we'll get sued. But
Right. Yeah, it's probably okay to use his intellectual property.
yeah.
No, that's great. I love the concept. Oh, that's really
Yeah.
cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, that should be a fun one to make.
And then what's the obviously you mentioned Paul is very busy, obviously, but I mean, what is the live situation like going forward? Do you have more shows coming up? Are you going to be touring, or do you have to wait for him to get back, or how does that work?
Well, he's only gone for like a week at a time. So
Oh.
it's not that, Vinny doesn't just go on the road for,
Yeah.
he goes off for a week, does
Okay.
the shows. We have nothing scheduled now. Like I said, we just put all our eggs into the King's X show. We were just like really hyped up about that one. So right now we have nothing set. We're going back in the studio to next week to work on 2 more singles to put out. We try to be very busy, so it keeps us focused.
Mhm.
We asked Sam from the label, like, hey, give us 5 dates next year, and he'll give us 5 dates, so we know, like, there's our carrot. That's what we got to do.
Mhm.
So our main focus is, delivering songs or videos to the label, and in between we go like, hey, let's do a gig. So we have a few places we play often, but right now we have, there's nothing on the books right now. But
Okay.
if when there is, it'll be all over our socials and our website for sure.
Okay. Outstanding. And like I said, we'll let you go in a moment and we'll hit that track Circle. But where's the best place for people to go online to keep up with everything that the band I is doing?
If you want like a one-stop stop, it's our website, which is ibandofficial1.com.
Okay.
And that has all the links to all our socials, our IG, our Facebook, our YouTube. We have a lot of videos on YouTube live, and also regular videos on there.
Yeah.
So that's like go there and you can find everything. But also, if you just want to go straight to our IG, that's ibandofficial1 at IG. And if you like Facebook, it's ibandofficial on Facebook.
Okay. Outstanding. Well, Al Granados from the band I, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to hit that track Circle, and I encourage everyone to check out after the show. Go to YouTube, check out the video for Nothing. It's really cool, and it's an important subject. So I really like that song a lot too. But Al, thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll definitely do it again in the future as you're releasing new music. We'd love to have you back, and really like the band a lot. So we will definitely do this again.
Great, thank you for having me. This was fun.
All right, Al, thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, that is Al Granados from the band I. And right now, because this isn't coming out until August, sometime in August, but you'll hear it here first, the world radio premiere of the new track from I. This is called Circle.